If your idea of a perfect evening is curling up in a blanket with a warm drink in hand while the leaves start to fall and a great book in your hands, then hi, you're so in the right place. I can't wait to start chatting books with you. If you're a fellow fantasy book bestie, then you're in the right place. I'm gonna give you my ultimate autumn mood reads to really get you kicking into the season. I'm also going to be sharing what's on my autumn TBR, so if you're also looking forward to reading some of these, comment down below and maybe we'll do a reading vlog for that one so we can read it together. I've set the mood for all of us and the ambience is... it's not quite autumn yet, although my brain is screaming. I don't care that it's still August when I'm filming this, as you can tell by my iced tea. My brain is already in autumn. Most of the books that I'm gonna cover are on my Kindle, so I'll just insert them on the screen. Folk of the Year series by Holly Black. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, this is not a surprise. I did a reading vlog for this one, I'll link it somewhere. But this is a YA. I love plot, particularly like the political scheming. I just feel like the entire vibe of the female main character being like, will they, won't they kill me? That just kind of gets you in the Halloweeny mood. Again, one of the things that really hooked me was the underlying like political scheming behind it, and I just loved what it did for the relationship of the female main character and the male main character. Aside from just being interesting to read about this like manipulation tactics and just like power play tactics, it added a really interesting layer to the romance. Let's move on to the next one. And this is my little baby here, Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. I do want to say, I do think if you read this, read Caraval first. Caraval is a trilogy by the same author. The male main character from this series appears in the second and third book of the Caraval trilogy, and Caraval is set before the events of this book. So I do think you need to read Caraval. I know this series is, I'm not gonna deny it, it is better than Caraval, but Caraval has its merit, you know, it also is entertaining. I just think it provides you much more background and context to the guy in question. This is just... if I had to make you choose between Folk of the Year series or this one, I would say choose this one. I love Folk of the Year series. Life or death situation, go for this one because I just feel like this just screams coziness, screams romantic tragedy, yearning. It's just... and don't get me wrong, in the Folk of the Year there is yearning and you learn about that eventually, and when you learn about it you're like, they will have you going crazy in this book with the shit that goes on. I don't know, Stephanie Garber honestly writes in such a unique way. The magic and the world that she creates always feel so unique and in a way scary, but at the same time comforting. I don't know how she balances this. There is always an air of mystery, but there is always an air of comfort. I cannot explain the attachment that I have to this series and this world. You just gotta read it for yourself and find out. To the last one of my recommendations. This is a bit more chill, this is a bit more slow paced. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. This is also a trilogy. This is for my light academia girlies, besties out there. I would recommend this one towards perhaps the end of autumn because I feel like it's a mix of autumn and winter, to be honest. Especially the first book in the trilogy starts out in the dead of winter in this really cold place in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, beginning of November, end of October, I think you need to read something spooky. She honestly makes you scared of fairies in a way. Like, she writes about fairies in a way that none of these other books write about, because they obviously say they're dangerous, they weren't always nice to humans, we know this, but at the same time they're never depicted in a way that makes you fear them. In Emily Wilde, you actually are like, it's not as idealized, it's not as romanticized. She based a lot of the trilogy and the books and the fantasy and the knowledge around fairies on actual Irish folklore. The book is still so cozy. It's very comforting. You're gonna fall in love with a ton of characters, including the male main character. Is the most tender, wholesome. He's just so cute. Very slow burn. It is close to a romance, but this one I would say is really for my fellow fairy folklore geeks, because it's actually written like an encyclopedia. I mean, what do you expect? And the last thing on this is you can really tell the amount of research into myth, into folklore that went behind writing the trilogy. It's just so well done. And there are so many cute pet-like characters that you just fall in love with. And they appear throughout the books and you keep hearing about them, and it just feels like friends. Honestly, it just feels like friends that you keep hearing about and you're like, oh, I'm glad they're doing okay. Let's move on to my autumn TBR. I'm so excited for this. You guys, I have an unrealistic number of books in this TBR. I might actually need you to help me choose if you have read any of these or want to read some of them. Perhaps you can sway me towards reading one of them first. Just comment down below if that's the case. Before we begin, let me know if there is a book that you're really looking forward to reading this season. Either one that's already been released that you haven't read, or a new release coming up, because I have one of those that I've pre-ordered and I'm so excited for it to come. Little disclaimer here, some of these that I'm gonna mention are series, because as you might know, my friend, if you're here, a lot of the fantasy, romantasy books just come in series. They're not standalones unless they've been recently released. So a lot of these are series, and I've just listed them as if it was one book. All this to say that my first on the list is to finish the Shatter Me series. Thing is, I started this series back in like May, June time. It just got too dystopian for summer, to be honest, for me. I'm telling you, I'm a mood reader and it just got too dystopian. But it was the peak of summer and I was like, I want to read a light-hearted romance right now. So I paused it, but that's back on the list right now. Next up, we have Phantasma. This is from the Wicked Game series by Kaylie Smith. I will read you a little blurb on what each book is about, so that you're on the same page as me, okay? It follows Ophelia, a necromancer who enters a deadly competition called Phantasma to save her sister from death. What a girl's gotta do to get out of debt. The competition, held in a cursed manor with 9 levels based on the circles of hell, tests the participants' physical and mental strength. Oh, I would have been gone by now. Ophelia, aided by a mysterious stranger, Blackwell, must navigate the trials while battling her own fears and the allure of forbidden romance. I kind of want to start reading it right now, to be honest. This is a great synopsis. With Phantasma, if I'm not mistaken, you have 2 books that are out, and it honestly feels like the perfect read for like around Halloween time. The other one is Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Oraya, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, human adopted daughter of the Vampire King, enters the deadly Gijari tournament held by the goddess of death. She forms a reluctant alliance with a mysterious rival, but their growing attraction complicates the deadly competition and Oraya's understanding of her father and his kingdom as she uncovers secrets about her past and the brewing war for the House of Night. This sounds really interesting. It sounds very like action-packed. I don't know why this is giving me November vibes. I don't know when this video turned into a full-blown calendar, but how busy we are these days, I kind of need to make myself an autumn reads calendar. That's a great idea, actually. That way I will give myself a deadline and I might actually pull this off. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah Parker. Now, I actually already got this one. I've been saving it since like spring to read in autumn. I've partly been saving it because I think, I might be mistaken, but I think there's another book coming that's coming out soon. And a friend suggested that I wait until the next book comes because I think it might end on like a cliffhanger. I'm not sure. When the Moon Hatch follows the assassin Rave, whose life is shattered after her capture by powerful fae, leading her to a high-security prison where she encounters a heartbroken dragon rider. They uncover a world of ancient magic, dragons, and political intrigue as they fight for answers and a future together. I have heard it can be slow-paced at the beginning, but I like that there is a potential for political scheming. I'm trying to place it on my mental calendar. I think this might be another November read. Sunrise on the Reaping. I know I am so late to the game. Literally to the game. I've been waiting to get on this one. Honestly, for what? I don't know. Like, I don't know what I've been waiting for. If you honestly haven't lived under a rock, not heard about Sunrise on the Reaping, it's okay, I will give you the plot. Sunrise on the Reaping is the second prequel to the original Hunger Games trilogy. Follows the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is set 24 years before the events of the first novel of the Hunger Games. The narrative delves into themes of political manipulation, power of propaganda, and the complexities of societal control under a totalitarian regime, and centers on the 50th Hunger Games in which Haymitch Abernathy competed. I honestly love Haymitch, and I already know I'm gonna suffer in this book. Is this a November read? Just because there are other books on this list that I feel scream October. Next up is Alchemy of Secrets by my girl Stephanie Garber. As if she knows who I am at all. The author of Caraval, of Once Upon a Broken Heart, is releasing a new adult series, if I'm not mistaken, set in a completely new world. It doesn't have anything to do with Caraval or Once Upon a Broken Heart. It's not connected at all. Pre-ordered it. I think it's coming out around like the 9th of October. If you're in the UK, or even in the US, they have different versions as well. If you pre-order, you could get like this gorgeous hardback cover that comes, there is like 4 different possibilities of the inner like foiling design of the book that you can get. Sorry, I'm diving straight into like the marketing of this book because it was brilliant. Like, it made me pre-order. I would have just waited to get it on the store, but it made me pre-order because there are 4 different possibilities of like the design of the foil that you can get, and I pre-ordered it because there's only 1/5 design in the world that is gonna be released, and it might be in the pre-order orders or it might be in the store, so it's almost impossible to actually try and get this book. Honestly, the plot of this book sounds so good, and I already know how Stephanie Garber writes. Her magic and her worlds always seem so uniquely layered and uniquely composed. So, set in a magical version of Los Angeles, where a graduate student, Holland St. James, discovers that her research on old Hollywood urban myths is tied to a world of real magic and danger. Holland learns she is destined to die on Halloween and must find the mythical alchemical heart to save herself. But she becomes entangled in a deadly treasure hunt as she navigates the glamorous but deceptive world of Hollywood and uncovers century-old secrets. Holland must learn to distinguish truth from lies to survive. I'm so excited for this release, and I'm so excited to see which foil I get. To be honest, all of them were gorgeous. I will be happy with whatever it is that I get. And this is gonna be ages long, so let's just wrap it up. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandanna. Again, this is another one that is perfect for October. Mika Moon, an isolated witch living by strict rules of secrecy, receives a mysterious invitation to teach 3 young witches at the isolated Nowhere House. I already love the names of the places. While there, she finds herself connecting with the house's eccentric inhabitants and developing a romance with the prickly librarian Jamie. As Mika grows to love this found family, she must confront the dangers that threaten them and find the courage to embrace a life beyond her isolation. Now, I had heard that this book was about like found family and it has this really cozy, comforting feeling to it. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into this in October. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Rival journalists Iris Winnow and Roman Kidd discover a magical connection through letters exchanged with each other, leads them into a war between gods and a fight for the fate of mankind. The 2 young reporters' bond deepens as they uncover secrets and forge their destiny amidst the chaos and magic of their world. This might be my 3rd November read. If you're interested at all in my autumn calendar, comment down below and I might actually either post it on Instagram, so check out my Instagram if you want, or make a video about this of some sorts. I don't know. I love to organize things. I do that for a living, actually. I might as well just organize my TBR to make sure that the timeline and outputs are met. I'm a project manager, if you can tell by that. Moving on to the last two books and we're done. We have Quicksilver by Kaylie. If you haven't read or heard about Quicksilver, because I feel like, again, I'm really late to the game with Quicksilver. A human thief in a desert city who accidentally opens a portal to the Fae realm by stealing an enchanted gauntlet. She is then bound to the Fae warrior Kingfisher and gets caught in a centuries-long Fae conflict. She navigates a dangerous world of Fae and vampires. This might be end of September though, if I can fit it in. The last one. This is gonna catch all of you by a surprise, because this isn't actually full-fledged fantasy or romantasy. This is magical realism. It's called The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. I've been really trying to read more Latin American classics. Isabel Allende is a Chilean writer, a Chilean author. I mainly just chose it because of the title. If you don't know, couldn't tell by the accent, I am from Latin America. Yeah, I've just been trying to get into reading more Latin American classics. Most of them, not all of them, most of them are magical realism, are different type of fiction, and because I've been getting so caught up in fantasy, which there's nothing wrong with it, I've kind of left them to the side, so I'm trying to incorporate that back into my reading, even if it's just 1 out of 10 books. Anyways, House of the Spirits chronicles 3 generations of the Trueba family in a fictional, unnamed Latin American country, blending personal history with political upheaval. The story begins with the clairvoyant Clara del Valle's marriage to the powerful landowner Esteban Trueba, and follows their daughter Bianca's romantic interests, which might be problematic to the time and her context, but the narrative explores themes of love, politics, family legacy, and the cyclical nature of violence through the lens of magical realism. Now, I've been wanting to read this one for ages, actually. I've had it recommended time and time again since I was in high school, honestly, so like years ago. That is actually all for today. I feel like I spoke endlessly. Comment down below if there's anything that I missed that you think screams autumn. It's gonna give me that cozy, comforting, perhaps a bit scary, thrillery vibe. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for chatting books with me. I can't wait to catch you in the next one.